Hi everyone, this is Helena and I'm so excited to be talking with my good friend and fellow coach Candice Oneida today. She is Australia's #1 feminine energy and women's empowerment coach, and we're super excited for this topic. We're going to be discussing 3 secrets to become that feminine energy goddess that a man just adores and values for life. We've been getting so many questions and requests to bring Candice back on. We've done a couple live streams and videos together that just got such a huge response. So I know Candice was the perfect person to bring on to talk about this topic today. So welcome, Candice, and thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure. Hello everyone again. So beautiful to be with you here again, Helena. It's always a joy, and we can always talk for hours, but we're going to try to keep this one succinct today, right?
Yes, we always say we want to try and keep this video short, but there's so much to talk about. So let's just dive right in today, Candice. What is that first secret to be that feminine goddess that a man wants to adore and cherish for life?
Yeah, so the first one, and there's 3 I'm going to pass today, and of course there's more that I cover in my trainings, but the first one that I wanted to share with you today is about being or becoming confident in your body. And the reason why I share this with regard to being with men, being in polarity with men, being in relationship with men, is that men love women who love their body. And so what does this really mean? This basically means, there's this, gosh, we end up, comparing ourselves to, the top 10 models in the world, or some idealized version of a woman, or even pornography skews this too, terribly skews this. And the thing is, we say that men are visual, and they are. Like, men will catch a woman in the street. They're visual at first, but the whole thing is, they say that beauty is skin deep, the visual beauty. And the thing is, men are super sensitive to our energy. And what does that mean? That means if we love our body, if we feel confident and loving our own body, whatever shape or size it is, however big or small our breasts are, our butt is, or our body, we end up seating in our throne, I call it in my model. We seat in the queen, and that we then exude that sense of self-love, of self-confidence. And that is so attractive to a man. It's so alluring when we love our body.
That is so true. I'm so glad you brought that up as the first one. By the way, I don't know what order we're going to be talking about these, so I'm so excited just hearing these from the first time from you. That is huge and so true, but it can be hard, right? I struggle with that all the time. I mean, things shift, our body shifts and fluctuates throughout the month or throughout the years, and there's injuries and not being able to work out or do the things you used to. Certainly relate to that myself. And I know so many women on my channel have expressed interest in more videos on this topic. I did a couple videos with Anya Grace, who actually introduced Candice and I, and those got such a huge response about healing body image issues and feeling more beautiful and radiant. I'd love to hear from you, Candice, any tips you have for women like myself and so many women out there who can relate to not always feeling super confident in their own skin or in their body. Any tips for women who are looking to step more into that confidence?
Yeah, well, the thing is, just on that, because we're talking about it in reference to our relationship to ourselves and our relationship in dating and relationships, right? So the thing is, yes, and this is a sideways way around answering your question there, Helena. Yes, men they do have things that they love about a woman, but it's not always the same thing. And Alison Armstrong's really big on this. You cannot convince a man to be into what he's not into. You can't convince him. She actually made the mistake in her first marriage. Literally, she tried to convince this man that she was the type of body that he loved, and it never worked, and the relationship ended up failing. The reason why I'm saying this is, don't fight it. Like, my partner loves literally every square millimeter, inch, I'm talking to Americans mainly, of my body. I had all sorts of body-related issues when I was little. I hated my nose, my breasts are too small, my ass is too big, my proportions, whatever. And it's just, it's the wrong way to see yourself. And in my work with women about feminine energy and feminine power, it's everything to do with the inner relationship to our feminine. And when we get back into relationship to ourselves, our authentic self, and if you are a truly, deeply soul-filled feminine energy person, it's just getting to love that again and getting to love whatever this form and shape is that we have incarnated into. Stop comparing. I mean, if I want to answer one thing to your question there, stop comparing yourself to other people. It's totally fine to admire beauty and different shapes in other women and men. It's fine. But when it becomes about comparison, you've taken yourself out of yourself and you are not going, but how do I feel in myself? I want to feel good in myself. And to feel good in yourself, sometimes can take a little bit of a returning back toward yourself and stop comparing. And if it is that you don't feel good about your shape and size, because I know that sometimes it's like, okay, I haven't been exercising enough and that just doesn't feel good in my body. That's just me. That's how I relate to my own body. I like my body to feel strong. I like my body to feel a little bit toned. That's what I like to feel in my body, whether I'm with a partner or not. And you need to find that in yourself. You need to find how that feels to you, that's authentic to you.
I think that's great. I love everything you said. Thank you for diving a little deeper into that. Yeah, I've really found men love what you love about yourself, right? So if you're constantly in conflict with yourself, something that probably was my biggest thing or transformation when it came to healing some of these issues. Of course, it's a constant process. I wouldn't say I'm fully there yet, but not taking score of where you are right now, in relation to some ideal or where you want to be or where you were 5 years ago. Right? Yeah. So not taking score. And I love that you mentioned not comparing. If comparing yourself doesn't feel good or taking score of where you are right now doesn't feel good, don't do it, right? And we can just guarantee that there is a man out there who's going to think you are so sexy, right? I love you're nodding over there, exactly as you are, and just is going to love you, every single thing about you. I worked with women with, certain physical disabilities and things like that, and it's just proved me right over and over and over. There are men out there who are looking for you. So I love that. That was really beautiful. And let us know, everyone watching this, your experiences with this and any questions or comments you have down below in the comment section. We love hearing from you. So let's jump into that second secret, Candice.
Awesome. I mean, there's so much. We could literally just talk about that one piece, right? There's so much we could talk about there, and we're happy to dive in the comments below. So my second secret to becoming the feminine goddess he adores is about learning how to soften, let go, and receive men. Okay? Now, there's a whole lot of reason for this. Firstly, when we soften, we learn how to soften into our own body, we soften into our own energy. That is an aspect of letting go. And then we reorientate ourselves toward what I call the incoming tide. So when we're in too much of our masculine, we're constantly pushing out the tide. We're constantly doing and going and acting and penetrating and all these masculine things. But when we soften, we let go, we create a reversal of that where we're actually able to receive the masculine in men. Okay? And this then gives them space to do what they want to do more than anything else, which is to provide, protect, and cherish us. But if we're constantly in this action of going, pushing, and it comes out in our voice, it comes out in the way our body is, right? So when we're in the masculine, we're not in a softened orientation. I often say that when we're too much in the masculine, the edges get hard and sharp, right? Even our body kind of moves in a directional way. But when we soften, we become more sort of the S curves, the sensual, the S's. So soften is one of the S's of the S curves, of course. We let go more. And look, I know, Helena knows, it is super, super vulnerable when you're out there dating. But you need to know that it's really, really vulnerable for them too. Men are super sensitive to us. They're crazy sensitive to us. And in just saying that, I hope you realize, or in realizing that they're super vulnerable, you can actually be a bit more gracious and a bit more compassionate for their experience, and then just be yourself, let yourself soften into yourself.
That is amazing. I really love the way you explain that. And I don't think I've ever heard anyone explain it that way before with the tides. And it's just the essence of being in your feminine energy. When you were describing that forward leaning, pushing outward with your energy, very masculine, right? And it's just going to push a guy away, especially if he's a masculine energy man. So it's I love what you said, focusing back on yourself, pulling the whole world towards you with your feminine magnetism, right? Especially your man, or the man you want to attract. So that was beautiful. Do you have any quick tips or tools or just little visualizations to help a woman get there? I know I hear from so many women who are in that masculine mode constantly in their lives, and they have trouble switching into that softening.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the tips I have is and I teach this in my Arise in Your Queen, Attract Your King salon. But basically, when you learn how to be in sort of feminine voice, gesture, and touch, think of the S curves. Think about it. Why do men love beautiful cars? Beautiful cars tend to have these beautiful curves to them, and they'll even talk about, whoa, look at her curves, and they do love our curves. And I have women saying, yeah, but I'm really skinny, I don't have curves. It's like, I'm pretty skinny too, but there's curves somewhere, even if it's the curve of your shoulder, right? Like now I'm just letting my shoulder out a bit. That's a curve. And so learn to love, again, this is kind of back to our first point. When you learn to love your own body and appreciate the feminine form, you see our shoulders are curved down, the masculine shoulders are square. There's a curve, and then we can go feel a bit more like, rather than this directional, forward moving, penetrating, leaning in action, think sideways isn't quite the work. Think sensual S motions of our body, and then there's a way to be like that with our voice. There's a way to be like that with our touch, where we're being more curvy in everything that we be. I don't even want to say do there. Like everything that we be more curvy, being more rounded in the orientation of our voice, the way we use our body, the way we might use our touch.
Beautiful. Wow. Again, never heard anyone describe it. I get very excited when I hear things I've never heard before because I talk with so many amazing experts, and that was so brilliant. And it might sound a little off point because I know our tendency sometimes is to like on a man and figure him out and try and do things to get him more attracted to us. And yes, you're in your head. I love it. It's just what Candice is saying. It's the opposite is true. When you take your focus off of him and put it somewhere, some kind of body sensation or feeling, that's the sexiest thing in the world to a man. And you don't have to do anything in the traditional sense of like taking an action. It's about being who you are and intuiting and really experiencing the present moment. That's what's going to draw a man in, right? So that was amazing. Let's jump into that third secret.
Beautiful. And the third secret to becoming the feminine goddess he adores, and this is really an overarching, encompassing secret, but Helena speaks about this, I speak about this ad nauseum. You need to know that your feminine energy is the most valuable asset that you have. It is the most valuable asset. Just being a woman, and as you embrace your feminine, as you feel confident that the feminine is a valuable thing, it's something that you can rest in, that it has power, extreme amounts of power. As I always say, we need to plug in to our feminine power in order to turn on and fill up, okay? And so it is valuable, it's rich, it's real, it's a thing. And I tell you what, the masculine, especially high quality masculine men, will fall over themselves for a feminine woman. Why? Because there's very few out there at the moment. We've all been taught to be masculine. And so when we be feminine, and you have to do this, you have to relearn, as I say, how to do this. You have to relearn this whole spectrum of the feminine. And that takes some coaching, some mentorship, some training, some practice, right? Because we've been well versed and well practiced in the masculine piece. We can tick that big box. And there's a whole sort of learning of what does it mean to be feminine? What does it feel like to be feminine? And then as we practice it and we exercise it, especially in dating and relationships, because that is such a feminine realm, by the way. This is the realm of the feminine. Relationships, being in relationship is a feminine domain. It's one of the biggest ways we can exercise the feminine. And if you're turning up feminine in these dates, if you're turning up feminine relationship, I mean, literally you'll have men lined up for you. You'll have men lining up for wanting to be with you because you are going to appear very unique, which is crazy, isn't it? Like, all women should be like this. And this is what, what part of the mission of people like Helena and I is to show you that this is something you can be and that you can love being feminine. You can experience the power of it, not power over, but the power of being feminine. And that has effects in your life. It has effects on men. It has effect in relationship. And one of the biggest effects it has is that you will get your needs and desires met by being your innate feminine self.
Oh my gosh, I love everything you said there. It is so true. Realizing that your worth and is in your energy. That's where your value lies. It's not in what you look like or having a super successful career. I mean, all of those things are great, but what really draws a man to you and makes him want to cherish and adore you for life is your essence of who you are. And I've really found when you dive into your feminine energy and get in touch with some of these deeper parts of yourself, it's like becoming more expansive. It's becoming more of who you are, not less, not changing who you are. I know a lot of people out there think they have to change who they are because they're just not that way. And I know you have so much to say on that, as I do as well, maybe a topic for another video. But that was beautiful. And for those women interested in learning exactly how to do that with that third secret, I know you have a free gift that you are offering. Would this be a good time to talk about that?
I do. I literally have created a new 1 hour totally free masterclass that Helena's going to offer here in the comments below. In her description box. Okay, so please click on it. It's a 1 hour free training. It's called How to Become a High Value Woman Who Attracts and Keeps a High Quality Masculine Man. Okay, so it covers this whole piece about the feminine in relationships, in dating. And I'm also going to disclose to you in the masterclass the 3 main massive mistakes I see smart, savvy, successful women make again and again that keep them attracting the wrong kind of man. Amazing.
Wow. Such an amazing free gift. Brand new. I know before you were offering a free gift, a quiz about the feminine archetypes. So those of you who have, taken that quiz, this is something totally new. So definitely click that link in the description down below. I'll also add it to the comment section. I'm certainly going to check that out. I'm a huge fan of all of your work, Candice. So this was amazing. Thank you so much for everyone watching. Let us know if you have any questions or comments. We love hearing about your experiences and your thoughts about some of these really important concepts and tools. So Candice, anything else you want to say before we close out?
Not today. Just please, follow the training, get on the enroll in the masterclass, stay and watch all the way to the end. I do have an incredible offer for you to invite you into my brand new program, Arise and Your Queen, Attract Your King. Watch to the end because I've got some bonuses that I'm only offering to both my and Helena's communities at the moment. So please watch through. We'd love to have you come on board, and we're here to serve you, basically.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone. Please go check out Candice's free master class. Again, the link's down below in the description and in the comment section. Candice, thank you so much. This was amazing, and let's definitely do this again soon.
My pleasure, my dear. We'll talk again soon.